Okay, so you've probably seen them around, right? The distinctive logo, maybe at a community event, or someone wearing one of those yellow vests, volunteering somewhere. But have you ever really stopped and thought, what's the story behind the Lions Clubs? What's this huge global thing they've got going on?
Well, today, that's exactly what we're doing. We're taking a deep dive into Lions Clubs International. We'll look at their pretty amazing history, how they're actually structured, how the local stuff connects globally, and the kind of impact they have. Our mission here is to show you not just what they do, but kind of how this whole massive network ticks and what it really means to be a Lion. And
Yep.
interestingly, our main source for this is their own new member orientation guide. So we're getting a real insider's look, basically.
Yeah, it's actually quite striking how much they pack into what's essentially, a welcome packet. It really gives you a feel for the organization's core values, right, from page one.
Totally. So let's jump in. What does this guide tell us, fundamentally? Who are these lions? Well, the guide really frames them, first and foremost, as men and women who are just deeply committed to serving people in need. And that's both, right in their backyard, their local community, but also globally. It's less about who they are demographically and more about this shared spirit of wanting to help, wanting to act. And the scale, wow, it's over 1.4 million members in more than 48,000 clubs across like 200 plus countries and geographical areas. It's huge.
That is
And
staggering.
besides the service part, it's clear members also get a lot out of the fellowship, making connections, and definitely opportunities to build leadership skills too.
Okay, 1.4 million, that's a serious network. Their vision statement alone to be the global leader in community and humanitarian service. I mean, that's a
Yeah.
bold statement for a volunteer group.
It is bold. And I think what it means in practice is they're not just sort of reacting to whatever pops up locally. They're trying to be strategic to actually shape global humanitarian work.
Yeah.
Look at their mission statement, too. It's about empowering volunteers, yes, but also meeting humanitarian needs, encouraging peace, promoting international understanding. It's broad.
And their motto, super simple, we serve.
Exactly. Powerful, right. And they even have a slogan, though maybe less known: liberty, intelligence, our nation's safety.
Right. And like you said about the vision, these aren't just nice words on a page, are they? They feel foundational.
Absolutely foundational. They seem to really drive decisions at every level.
And their official purposes, they list quite a few. Things like, okay, organizing clubs, obviously, but
Yeah.
also fostering that understanding between different peoples, promoting good government, taking an active interest in the community's welfare.
Uh-huh. Uniting clubs and friendship.
Yeah, and providing a forum for discussion, though they make a point, don't they, about what's not debated.
Right. The guide is very clear. No partisan politics, no sectarian religion discussed within the clubs. It's about public interest, but keeping those potentially divisive topics out.
And a big one, encouraging service without personal financial reward, promoting high ethical standards.
And that code of ethics. It's
Yeah,
like quite something. It goes beyond just, be honest. It talks about things like resolving doubt against yourself in business dealings or being careful with criticism while liberal with praise.
holding friendship as an end, not a means.
Exactly. It's fascinating how it tries to provide this like moral compass for their actions worldwide. It's a very holistic guide for how lions should operate, really, not just when they're volunteering, but in life. Sets a real tone.
It really does sound like a deep commitment. So this big vision, these strong ethics, where did it all start? Let's go back. How did this whole thing come together over the last century or so?
Yeah, looking back, you can see those seeds right from the beginning. It kicks off in 1917. There's this guy, Melvin Jones, a businessman in Chicago. And he has this idea for his group, the Chicago Business Circle, which was mostly, networking. He thought, what if we did more? What if we went beyond just good business practices and focused on like truly selfless service?
So helping others, not just helping each other's businesses.
Precisely. He believed if they dedicated themselves to the wider community, they could actually make things better for everyone. He saw this potential for a whole network of clubs.
And that led to the first meeting?
Yep. June 7th, 1917, Chicago. The Association of Lions Clubs is born.
And it sure fast.
By 1920, just 3 years later, they had a club in Windsor, Ontario, Canada.
Ah, so that's when it became international.
Exactly, the International Association of Lions Clubs.
Okay, but you mentioned earlier that something really pivotal happened, something that truly shaped their mission long term. What was that?
Ah, yes. This is a huge moment in their story, 1925. Helen Keller.
Uh,
The Helen Keller. She actually addressed their international convention in Cedar Point, Ohio, and she threw down this challenge. She urged them to become Knights of the Blind in the crusade against darkness.
Knights of the Blind. That's powerful imagery.
Isn't it? And it just resonated so deeply. It fundamentally shifted their focus and led to this massive, ongoing commitment to sight programs, helping the visually impaired. It's still arguably what they're best known for globally.
And that commitment, that focus, it clearly built momentum. I read they were involved with the UN Charter.
Yeah, incredibly. In 1945, they were one of the very first non-governmental organizations invited to help draft the United Nations Charter, which for a service club is pretty amazing. Shows their standing even then.
Definitely. And then they branched out into youth.
Right. 1957, they started the LEO program. LEO standing for Leadership, Experience, Opportunity, basically getting young people involved in volunteering and personal development.
And then came the foundation, the LCIF.
Yes, 1968. The Lions Club's International Foundation, LCIF. That was a big step because it created this mechanism to fund really large-scale projects, both globally and major local ones. A real game changer for their impact.
And other milestones, they weren't always open to women, right?
Correct. That changed in 1987. They became the first major service club organization to admit women as members. A huge and frankly overdue step.
And then circling back to Helen Keller's challenge, Sight First.
Exactly. Launched in 1990, Sight First. It was, and still is, this incredibly ambitious, comprehensive effort to wipe out preventable and reversible blindness worldwide. A direct continuation of that 1925 call to action.
It all connects. Now, speaking of identity, the name itself, Lions, and that logo, they're very distinctive. How did they settle on Lions?
It was actually chosen by a secret ballot way back in June 1917. Apparently, it won out over some other suggestions because, well, the lion represents strength, courage, fidelity, vital action, all things they wanted the club to stand for.
Makes sense. And the official name is?
The International Association of Lions Clubs, or more commonly, Lions Clubs International.
And then the logo, it's quite specific.
It is. You've got the gold L on a blue background,
Yeah.
right? Surrounded by gold circles, and then the two lion profiles, one looking back, representing their, proud history.
And the other looking forward to the future, optimistically.
Exactly. It's a really well-known symbol now,
Yeah.
respected. And yeah, it's a registered trademark.
So that symbolism, chosen right at the start, it still feels relevant today, linking that legacy with their future goals.
Absolutely. It ties it all together. That early vision still defines them, really.
Okay, so we've got the identity, the history, powerful stuff. But the big question is, how does this global vision actually work on the ground? How do you organize, 1.4 million people in 200 countries? Let's dig into the structure now. How does it all connect from, my local town right up to the international level?
Right. It really starts, as you'd expect, with the local club. That's the bedrock, the foundation. Each club has officers elected every year, usually starting their term on July 1st. You've got a board of directors.
Led by the president.
Yep, the president is the chief executive, basically. And they also chair the club's global action team. I'll come back to that. Then there's the immediate past president who's there for guidance, experience, and often they're the club's LCIF coordinator.
LCIF coordinator. So they're the link to that big international foundation for fundraising and grants.
Exactly. They help connect the club's efforts to the larger foundation's work.
Okay, who else is key on that local board?
Well, you've got vice presidents often overseeing specific committees. Very important is the membership chairperson.
Ah, the person bringing new people in.
Yes, but not just recruiting. Their role is also about orientation, making sure new members feel welcome, get integrated. That's crucial for keeping volunteers engaged,
Absolutely.
Then you have the secretary, handling records, communications with the district, with HQ, the treasurer, obviously managing the money, and the service chairperson.
What's their main focus?
Identifying what the local community actually needs, and then figuring out how club projects can meet those needs, ideally aligning with the bigger LCI service framework.
It sounds like there's a role for pretty much everyone, especially with committees for administration and specific activities.
Yeah, many clubs really try to get every member involved in something. And you see those local traditions, maybe a club song, or everyone wearing the yellow vests for service projects. They have awards too, right?
Right. Things like membership keys if you sponsor new members. Chevrons for years of service starts at 10 years, then every 5 years after that.
Uh-huh. And member sponsor recognition, extension awards if your club helps start a new club somewhere else. It's about acknowledging that commitment.
Makes sense. Now, money. How does a local club handle its finances? Is it all just one big pot?
No, and this is important. They have two distinct budgets. First, The Activities Fund. This is money raised from the public, bake sales, fundraising dinners, that sort of thing.
And that money.
Must only be used for community service or public needs. It cannot be used for club running costs. That's a strict rule.
Okay, so where does the money for running the club come from?
That's the administrative budget. This covers things like meeting room costs, newsletters, general operations, and it mainly comes from member dues.
And part of those dues go to the international organization.
Yes. Currently, it's US $43 per year for international dues. And that covers quite a bit: your subscription to Lion magazine, access to leadership training, legal support for the organization, insurance, the Mylian app for reporting service.
So members get tangible benefits back. And how do clubs usually communicate?
Oh, the usual mix. Newsletters, maybe a club website or an e-clubhouse page, definitely social media these days.
Okay, that's the local club, but they're not islands. How do they connect up?
Right. Next layer up is the district. And sometimes multiple districts. These are the connectors. All the clubs worldwide are grouped into about 750 districts. A district usually needs at least 35 clubs and 1,250 members to be formed.
And who leads the district?
A district governor. They're elected for just a one-year term, and they have a team supporting them, a first and second vice district governor. And sometimes, if a district is really big geographically, it might be split into regions and zones, each with its own chairperson, just to manage things better.
Okay. And multiple districts.
That's when you group two or more districts together, often along state or national lines. They're led by a council of governors, made up of the current district governors from that area.
You mentioned the Global Action Team, or GATE, at the club level. Does that exist higher up too?
Yes, and it's really key at the district level. Think of the GAT as the district's engine room for growth and service. The district governor chairs it, and it brings together the district coordinators for membership, leadership, and service. The whole idea is this bottoms-up, whole club approach, trying to get everything working together to energize the clubs.
So it's about strategy and coordination for the whole district.
Exactly. Districts also hold an annual convention. That's where they do their main business, vote on things, hold elections, run seminars, and, have some fellowship time too. And like clubs, they use newsletters, websites, maybe district magazines to communicate.
So if you're a member, this structure means you're not alone. There's this whole support system connecting your local efforts to, well, the whole Lions world.
Precisely. And then at the very top, you have Lions Clubs International itself, LCI, the global hub. You have international officers of the president, first and second vice presidents, the immediate past president. Interestingly, they're elected 2 years before they actually take office. They implement policy, but they're also, the inspirational figureheads for everyone.
And who sets the policy? Who governs this massive organization?
That's the International Board of Directors. There are 34 board members from all over the Lions world. They meet 4 times a year. Their job is to set the overall direction, approve policies, oversee the programs, manage the finances, approve the budget, basically run the ship at the highest level.
And how do the local clubs have a say in who gets on that board or becomes president?
That's crucial. It's the club that's the member of the association.
Uh-huh.
So clubs send delegates to the International Convention. The number of delegates depends on club size, typically 1 delegate for every 25 members, and those delegates vote for the international directors and the international officers. So there's that direct link back to the grassroots.
Okay, that makes sense. And everything they do is governed by
The International Constitution and bylaws. That's the ultimate rule book for the entire organization.
And the International Convention, that sounds like a huge event.
Oh, it is. It happens every year, usually late June or early July. Yeah. Thousands and thousands of Lions come together from all over the world. There's official business, lots of educational sessions, celebrations, networking, and a big, colorful parade. It's quite the spectacle.
I bet. And where is the Nerve Center, the HQ?
Oak Brook, Illinois. That's near Chicago. They have about 275 professional staff there supporting the whole operation. And reflecting their global nature, they provide services in 11 official languages: English, Spanish, French, German, Italian, Portuguese, Japanese, Korean, Chinese, Finnish, Swedish. Oh, and Hindi too now, I believe.
Wow. That linguistic support alone is impressive. It really raises the question, though, how does an organization this enormous, this widespread, actually stay unified? How do they deliver on that global mission while still letting local clubs, do their thing?
It's a fascinating balancing act, isn't it? That structure, that layered approach seems key. But let's talk about what they actually do, the impact, the service. Their activities are just incredibly diverse. You can group them, maybe, like Community services, that could be anything, hands-on projects, the Lions crew at work idea.
Right, getting out there and doing stuff.
Yeah. Then there's disaster preparedness and relief. They have the Lions Alert program for that, mobilizing quickly when disasters strike.
And environmental work, too.
Yeah, definitely. Through the Lions Green Team Initiative, we're talking tree planting, community cleanups, recycling drives, real tangible environmental action.
And health. Obviously, sight is huge, but what else?
Oh yeah, much broader than just Sight Now.
Mm-hmm.
Hearing programs, big focus on diabetes awareness and screening, breast cancer awareness, even providing things like emergency medical equipment for communities.
They also try to connect clubs internationally, right?
Yes, through
Well,
things like club twinning, pairing up clubs in different countries to build understanding and maybe do joint projects, fostering that international relations piece.
and they put a lot of energy into youth programs, which is great to see.
Absolutely. The International Peace Poster Contest is a big one. For kids 11 to 13, gives them a chance to think about and express ideas about world peace through art. Gets huge participation, like 350,000 kids from 75 countries each year.
That's amazing. What else for youth?
The Youth Camp and Exchange Program. This is more for teenagers and young adults, say 15 to 22. They get to travel, stay with host families, or attend special Lions camps in other countries. Over 100 camps in nearly 50 countries. Real life-changing cultural experiences.
And Leo clubs we mentioned earlier.
Right, the Leo Club program. Sponsored by Lions Clubs, it's for young people to run their own service projects. Remember the motto: leadership, experience, opportunity. It's massive now, about 150,000 Leos in over 6,000 clubs across almost 140 countries.
So they're really investing in the next generation of service leaders.
For sure. And beyond those specific programs, there's just general Lion services for children, helping kids in need with basics like food, or medical care, education, life skills training.
To really focus their efforts, they have these global service action campaigns throughout the year.
Yeah, it's a way to get clubs around the world potentially working on similar themes at the same time.
Right.
Like August is often focused on engaging our youth. October is sharing the vision tied to World Sight Day, so lots of eye screenings, collecting used eyeglasses.
Where do those collected glasses go?
They go to Lions eyeglass recycling centers, where they're cleaned, sorted, and distributed to people in need globally. It's a huge operation.
Wow. Okay, what other campaigns?
December and January often focus on relieving hunger food drives, supporting food banks. And April is about protecting our environment, tree planting, cleanups, recycling events. It helps create collective impact.
Now, the engine behind a lot of the really big global projects is the foundation, LCIF. You said it was a game changer. How does it manage to have such a huge impact?
Well, since 1968, LCIF has funneled hundreds of millions of dollars into humanitarian work. They grant about US $30 million every year on average.
Where does that money primarily come from?
A big chunk actually comes from Lions members themselves, through donations, maybe through programs like the Melvin Jones Fellowship that recognizes people who donate US $1,000 or more.
So members are funding their own foundation.
Largely, yes. But LCIF is also smart about partnerships. They work with corporations, other NGOs, government sometimes, to leverage those funds and make them go further. It's very strategic.
And Sight First, launched in '90, is probably the most famous example of LCIF's work.
Absolutely. It remains their signature program. Lions have raised over US $415 million just for Sight First. It's made LCIF, arguably, the world's leading organization in blindness prevention.
I think I read they were ranked #1 NGO globally by the Financial Times at one point.
They were, back in 2007, which is incredible recognition. And it's not just about throwing money at the problem. Sight First works by building capacity training local eye care professionals, establishing clinics and hospitals, delivering services in underserved areas. It's about sustainable change.
That sustainability piece is key. Okay, so for an organization doing all this, keeping the energy up, bringing in new people, developing leaders, that has to be a constant focus. Let's talk about growing the Pride membership and leadership.
Yeah, it's absolutely critical. The guide emphasizes how new members bring, fresh energy, new ideas. Maybe they see needs in the community that existing members hadn't noticed. They're vital.
So how do they encourage growth? Are there specific programs?
Definitely. They've got several initiatives, like family membership, special dues structure to make it easier for whole families to join and volunteer together.
That's a nice idea. What about younger people?
There's a student member program offers a discount on dues for students, whether they're in a campus-based club or a traditional one. And the Leo to Lion program we touched on, that gives former Leos up to age 30 a discount and an easier path to becoming full Lions members, trying to keep those young leaders involved.
And they have a specific day for welcoming new members.
Yes. Lions Worldwide Induction Day, usually sometime in April. It's a coordinated effort to bring in new members and also just raise public awareness about what Lions do.
What's really struck me is how flexible they seem to be with the types of clubs people can form now. It's not just the traditional model anymore, is it?
Not at all.
Yeah.
They've really diversified. You still have traditional Lions clubs, of course, but now you can form a club branch, like a smaller group, that's officially part of a larger parent club. Good for maybe starting out in a new area.
In clubs specifically for certain groups.
Right. Campus Lions clubs, based at colleges or universities. Leo Lions clubs, aimed at those transitioning Leos and other young adults. There are even Lioness Lyman's clubs, specifically for former members of the old Lioness program to transition into full Lion membership.
And then there are specialty clubs.
Yeah, this is really interesting. Clubs formed around a shared interest or circumstance. Could be a hobby, like a club for photographers who do service projects, or virtual Lions clubs meeting online, perfect for people who are geographically spread out or have mobility issues.
What other kinds of specialty clubs?
There are Champions Lions clubs, which focus specifically on supporting Special Olympics athletes and programs, and Lions Quest Lions clubs, dedicated to implementing the Lions Quest life skills programs for kids in schools. It's really about finding a model that fits people's lives and passions.
So it's not just about service, it's also clearly about personal growth, leadership development. How does that work within Lions?
That's a massive part of the value proposition for members.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The Global Leadership Team, the GLT, really spearheads this. They offer a whole ladder of training opportunities, things like Emerging Lions Leadership Institutes focused on skills you need at the club level. Then Advanced or Senior Lions Leadership Institutes more for district-level roles.
So structured training programs.
Yes, and even Faculty Development Institutes for Lions who want to become trainers themselves. Plus Regional Lions Leadership Institutes that bring people together from a wider area. And beyond the in-person stuff, there's a ton online. Webinars on various topics, the Lions Learning Center, which has interactive online courses, a whole leadership resource center on their website with materials and guides.
So it really is a commitment to developing members, not just using them for service hours.
Exactly. It's about empowering them personally and professionally through service.
Okay, last piece of the puzzle then. An organization this big, this global communication has to be absolutely vital. How do they keep everyone, all 1.4 million members, kind of on the same page?
Yeah, it's a huge challenge, but they have several key channels. The big one is their official magazine, Lion Magazine.
That's been around a while, hasn't it?
Since 1918. It comes out 10 times a year, and it's published in, I think, 21 languages now. It's part of what your international dues cover, and it's really the main way the international leadership communicates broadly, shares success stories from clubs around the world, keeps everyone feeling connected to the bigger mission. They really encourage members to read it and share it.
Makes sense. And digitally, what's the main hub?
Well, they use email a lot, regular updates, messages from the president, info for new members. But the main online resource is the official LCI website, lionsclubs.org.
What can members find there?
Pretty much everything. Tons of information, downloadable resources. You can order club supplies, find a directory of clubs worldwide, submit your club's activity reports online, read the magazine online, access discussion boards, get to those training courses. It's really comprehensive.
And social media, I assume.
Of course. They're active daily on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Flickr.r, sharing news, photos, videos. It's crucial for reaching members, especially younger ones, and also for their public image.
It's fascinating, isn't it, how they use this whole range of tools from a print magazine that's over 100 years old to the latest social media just to keep this huge, diverse, global membership feeling connected and informed. It must be essential.
Couldn't do it otherwise, I suspect. That communication network is the glue.
Well, there you have it. We've covered a lot of ground.
Yeah.
From those core ideas we serve, the ethical code, through their incredible history, starting with Melvin Jones, that pivotal moment with Helen Keller.
Right, then exploring that whole structure, how the local club fits into the district, and then the international organization.
Exactly, and looking at the sheer variety of what they do, Site First being the giant, obviously, but also youth programs, environmental work, disaster relief, the whole range.
And you can really see how Lions Clubs International operates as this well-organized system,
Yeah.
empowering all those volunteers, making a real difference all over the world, but also, crucially, offering members real opportunities for their own growth and development.
It really is quite a model, which leads us to our final thought for you to consider.
Given everything we've discussed, Lions' strong emphasis on ethics, on service without personal financial gain, and that unique structure linking global reach with local action? How might those principles, if other organizations adopted them, reshape things?
Yeah, think about other professional groups or civic organizations in your own community or field. What if they operated with that same kind of ethical framework and service focus? What kind of maybe unexpected ripple effects could that create? Something to mull over.